this is an entirely different set of data for a computer. And again, it needs to be able to relate to something that it's seen before and being able to predict. And we're all familiar now with auto-tagging, Facebook's doing it, and iPhoto, and Google were really the first one to introduce that features in Picasa. So what you do is you tag yourself, and one picture is enough, and then it will just scroll all the pictures on your computers, and it will automatically find you and your family, your friends, and so on. And this is what it found me in all those circumstances. With glasses on, as a Santa, with my eye closed, on my identity cards, when I was 14 years old, and astonishingly, my me, which is my Wii avatar. And I took a picture of my daughter in front of the TV screen, and he tagged my daughter Lily, and then he tagged me, Gregory. And I was like, how did you do that? It's unbelievable. This is a computer, just automatically do that. And again, this morning Omar spoke about Blipper and those technology who can really recognize now objects and patterns and things like that. It's an unbelievable piece of the technology that were existence a few years ago, and we take those for granted now. So the best example really is to look at how UI and AR comes together.
Exactly. See, I've got everything we need.
Oh, great. Let's get started then.
You've got to put these goggles on.
Goggles?
Put them on like this.
Okay. What? Like that?
Claire has been thrown a pair of goggles. Notice what she did. This wasn't acted. She felt the need to reach down for those goggles. Now, everybody, every single person that has experienced this reaches down because they feel so connected to Milo's world.
Cool. So what are we doing? Do I have to stand at the edge?
Now, notice something here. I didn't spot it the first time.
Put your hands in.
Look at the reflection on the water.
I bet the fish think
Kinect.
it's a monster.
Take the body,
Cheeky.
merge it into the fake water.
What do you about this?
This is what gesture does, It's very immersive.
Touch your fish.
There Claire is, in Milo's world. She's in that pond.
All right.
Every hand movement is being recognised. Being able to touch fish, being able to swish the water with her hand.
Moving away.
Everyone who's experienced it, their hairs are standing up on the back of their head. Now, what's about to happen is some real magic.
Well, you're good at drawing.
They're only fish, but they're trickier than you think.
Well, here, I'll have a go. Right. I'm going to do a body and a tail, the big fin, and a smiley face. There we go. What do you think?
Look at what just happened.
Orange.
Claire drew a picture on a piece of paper. The piece of paper was held up to Milo. Natal recognised the piece of paper, scanned the piece of paper in. Milo looked at that piece of paper, recognised the shape, recognised the colour, and able to get on with his
Thanks for
project.
your help, Claire.
This is true technology that science fiction has not even written about.
Don't forget your mum's birthday.
And this works today, now.
So amazing pieces of technology. Again, things that happen in labs, but you can imagine this being in your high street, in your shop, in retail in the next few years. So what we are effectively doing is building a global brain. With all that data, we together creating this one big global brain. Think about Wikipedia. A lot of those data sets are disconnected, but thanks to API, they can actually work together to create great knowledge or great services. And one really, probably the main, for me, output of all those innovations is the creation of virtual assistants. We're all going to have PAs, even PAs themselves. And that's the phones we have in our pocket. What's really amazing with the phone is it actually share a lot of our characteristics. It actually has 3 of our 5 senses. It can see through camera, it can hear through the microphones, and it can feel through the gyros and through the touchscreens. It can't yet smell, but I've seen someone who's trying to get an app, you just connect and then it can smell different detections and so on. But smell, your fire alarm, for instance, that's kind of trying to smell as well, right? Taste, definitely not. But 3 of our senses is quite a lot already. But guess what? It actually has more than us. It can actually localize itself. You drop the phone somewhere, anywhere in the world, as long as it's got battery, within a few seconds it will know precisely where it is. We can't do that. it knows where the north is. It can get a lot more information as well through the apps, like temperatures and so on. And it's got access to that global brain too. So we all start to be quite familiar with Siri and Google Now and so on. This could be quite useful as well if one day you decide to kill someone. I'm going to do a quick test just to show you Google Now. So I'm going to ask a few questions. Okay, Google. Not working. Okay, Google. Who is the school? Start again. Working? No. Maybe I have a connection. Okay, Google. Who is the Queen of Spain? I think I have a connection. We did connect to the Wi-Fi, but anyway, try it at home. It's quite amazing. What I was going to show you is how contextual it is. You can actually ask the question. I was going to ask, who is the Queen of Spain? And it gives me the answer. You actually speak it out as well. And then you say, where was she born? You just say she, so it's contextual. You remember what you asked before, and then it gives you the answer. And then you say, how many children does she have? And then she tells you how many, and then she starts listing all the children. And you know, it's incredibly amazing when it works. The power of this artificial intelligence. We can now have a conversation with a computer effectively. But why will it stop there? This is just the beginning. And you know, something is really serious and important for marketers and advertisers is that Siri is going to make purchase decisions on my behalf. And I'm happy for Siri to make those purchase decisions on some items. You know, shopping, what brand of sugar? Just sugar. You decide which sugar I want. Water, milk. And so what's going to happen is, because Siri will know all the things that we like and what we have in our kitchen, in our cupboard and so on, you know, it will go away and make those purchase decisions on our behalf. So the question is, how do we advertise to a robot? Because now the robot's going to, you know, decide what you want, you know, what we need. You know, we've got to start, and it's happening today, you know, there's algorithms with search engines. You've got to really optimize, you know, the different keywords and so on. So, you know, it's a new paradigm, and we have to start to think about how, you know, how we do that. Obviously, ultimately, still the consumer will want, like or not, the product. But for a lot of commoditized product, you know, this will be handed over to your algorithm effectively to make those decisions. So what attributes the best a PA would have? Well, you want it to predict all your needs at once. You don't want to have to repeat yourself all the time. You know, remember, I'm a vegetarian, I've got asthma, I like a window seat, and so on. But for it to work that way, it needs to know everything about you. So it needs to have all the data. And I'm going to quote here Kevin Kelly, who said in a TED talk, total personalization requires total transparency, and that is the price. That's quite a statement. So total transparency. And you know, you think, am I going to start to blog about my credit card details and so on? The answer here is really, you're happy to be transparent with the brand or the people you trust. And the more you trust, the more you share, the more data you can share. And we do that with Google, we do that with Facebook, we do that with Apple. But what's really interesting here is that it says it's the price. So now we've got a new currency, effectively, which is your data.